Okay, everybody, we're here. We're coming at you live, NAB 2025, at the Amaran booth in the Creator Lab here in the South Hall. I'm with Lee Zavitz,
How's it going?
YouTube extraordinaire. Thanks to Amaran for bringing us down here and putting this together. How's it going, Lee?
Not too bad. I just been walking around through here, and you're way at the end, so it was a long walk.
We are. We're in the cool annex.
This is the cool section.
I got some questions for you here that were prepared by experts, and I'm just going to randomly select some.
Okay.
And you can just jump right in. If your camera was in therapy, what would it say about you?
Wow.
What would it confide in its therapist about how you've been treating it?
Why? You seem very lonely. It's just you and me all the time. I don't know.
The things it's seen.
I don't know. That's an interesting question.
Yeah, I like that one a little bit more. Easy to answer. What do you think these days for you is the most overrated piece of gear? It doesn't have to be one that you've succumbed to, but even if one that you've like avoided or whatever because you feel that way. But just tell me something you're like overrated piece of gear.
Most overrated piece of gear. Did you say lights? It's not lights. Lights is one of the most needed pieces of gear.
Yeah, and often underappreciated.
I know I'm like a camera reviewer, but sometimes you don't need the camera with all the specs. It is a lot about the lighting.
Yeah.
And you can get by with your phone pretty much. But yeah, I don't know. It's funny. It's weird to say that the camera's overrated, but sometimes it is, depending on what you're doing.
Yeah, I think that every extra dollar becomes more and more overrated as you go up, right?
It's all based off the scenario you're in, or if you're working on a job or you need specific specs or whatever.
Yeah. Do you encounter...
What about you?
So Lee does more than just YouTube. You do, like, I've seen you do a lot of music video stuff. And
Yeah, I still do a bit of client work on top of YouTube stuff.
do you encounter these days brand preference where it's like it overrides the overrated nature of a camera because you just have to have that camera because everybody wants you to have the FX6 or whatever it is, you know?
I mean, there's always going to be a little part of that, and there's a reason why everyone chooses a specific camera, and like, maybe it is the best for the job, you know? So I don't know.
Mine would be, I don't know. Oh,
Stereoscopic spectrometer.
I love that you remember that. I don't know if overrated is the right word. I guess like the one that I feel like is overused for how good it is, or rather like how not so good it is, but how much it's used, are those little clip-on wireless mics.
Okay.
Like they are useful and they're good.
Right.
And if you put a lav in them, they can be really small and compact. But
Right.
the idea of like just like clip them on your hat, have one draping from your t-shirt
Sure.
or whatever, it's like you could have done like maybe 10 extra minutes of work or spend a couple dollars more and have an actual,
Yeah.
you know, like
I think sometimes it's more just about the convenience of being able to just like click, it's on, or
They
like
are
click, you're
convenient.
holding it. Because with the lav, you got to put it on the shirt, run it down the shirt,
It's
put
true.
it down. I mean, I'm kind of in both worlds. Like if I'm doing something where I don't really want the mic to be as obvious, I'll wear the lav.
yeah.
And if it's something where I'm like addressing the camera quick, I like to just hold the mic. I find I'm better if I have a mic in my hand.
I actually like them better held because it's
Right.
almost like a little mic.
Yeah.
Then I don't like a hat clip or a floppy t-shirt one, but I'm okay with a hold, you know?
Yeah, because the bigger ones kind of like start to
They
hang.
do.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm such a like, I like a crew neck to be nice and tight.
Okay.
And when it starts pulling that away from my neck, I get all like
It's
heebie-jeebied about
it's
it.
all saggy.
On the opposite end of it then, what do you think is the cheapest piece of gear that's had the biggest impact?
Well, it depends on the scenario, but sometimes like even just a cheap reflector is
I'm
nice.
with you on that.
Like you can bounce light. You can do a lot with a reflector.
I think jumping back to a previous conversation that we had here about affiliate marketing, I think if there was a product that like I would be most eager to affiliate market, it would be a reflector because like there's like a million of them on Amazon
Right.
and everything else, right? That's the one product I'm like where I could, you know how you make those lists at the end of the year would be like 5 items that you need or whatever. It's like
Right.
literally go on your whatever store you like to use, spend the $20-$30, get a 5-in-1 reflector. You will not regret it. It's like
Yeah.
the best $30 you can spend probably.
Would you make your own custom one with one side purple and the other side white?
just to like ruin your skin tones
Yeah.
or whatever? If you could invent a piece of filmmaking tech, or rather if there's like, it doesn't even have to be practical, but you're like, I just really wish this would exist to make this, and this easier in my life, what would you conceive of?
That's a tough question. It's one of those things where like it happens in the moment. You're like, man, I wish I had one of these things.
It does. I'm wondering if you run into like a recurring problem where you're like, there's got to be a better way. Yeah.
The one thing I know, it's very niche, is I want something that I can record the screen of my camera that isn't like a big, huge monitor. Because if I'm doing photography, I like to show the back of the screen or whatever.
What would that be like? What would that look like?
Well, I've tried to talk to the Sony engineers about installing like a custom pro mode where you type in a code and it lets you internally record the screen in the camera or something. I don't know. I think it'd be fun.
So here's I'll make up a device then, because I said
Okay.
you're allowed to. What about some kind of like little USB dongle,
Just a small thing.
or even like a little HDMI dongle,
Yeah.
and you just stick it in the HDMI port, and it's got like maybe a micro SD or built in, and just a button on the side. You stick it in the HDMI port, push a
Yeah,
button,
that'd make it easy.
and you know it's just rolling.
But if we're gonna specifically stick to Sony, here's my issue: is when I want to show the info to record out,
Yeah.
the screen goes black, and then if I'm trying to take photos,
And you don't have a screen. It's because your little HDMI dongle
Yeah.
doesn't have a screen on it.
So there's got to be something that we can do. I'm actually working on a video about this, about
Yeah.
the different ways I do screen recording when I'm out live shooting.
It's simple. You just have
Yeah.
one camera mounted to the other camera.
Yeah.
Put it. We've all done that.
Couple of
we
magic
all
arms.
have a video where there's
Yeah.
cameras pointing at cameras. Any gear purchases that you regret?
A lot of people like to say gimbals, but I am the opposite. I like gimbals, but they don't get used a lot. They're used on like specific
That's true.
things. I can't really think of anything.
They probably have the most dust of any
Yeah,
dollar.
it doesn't get used as much,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't say I would regret it because it definitely serves a purpose. I can't really think of anything that I've regretted buying. I'm like, ugh, why did I buy that? Because half the time I'm already watching every review and internally thinking like, should I buy that? I don't need it. And a couple days go by, like, I don't need that. And then another couple days go by, I'm like, I probably could use that, and I'll buy it. It may not be like a regret, but it might sit in the
I
desk
gotcha.
a little longer. Yeah.
So because Amaran is a lighting brand, what would you say is the worst lighting setup you've ever published a video with? Tell me about the setup.
I think when I first started YouTube, and the weird thing is I'd already been doing this professionally before I even got into YouTube, but I think I just didn't care. And I'd have the light straight on. Like I would have like this type of a light panel straight on. And like
Just
I learned,
a harsh.
yeah, I learned that like, sure I had light, but it like, you know, there's a way to make it look good. And I think once I got like a softbox and stuff, it really helped. And like coming in from the side and whatnot. But the worst lighting setup would definitely just be like a harsh light straight on your face.
My first videos are that exact thing,
Yeah.
and they weren't even like proper lights. They
Yeah.
were just like decent bulbs that you could buy like
Oh, yeah.
daylight bulbs.
The curly ones?
Yeah, and the CFLs.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of like camera, bulb, and just like blasting me because you would notice that the detail would just be so much better on those like
Right.
older sensors. You'd be like, you just flood it with light.
Maybe it was the camera. Maybe we're doing it because of the camera.
Yeah, you just had to flood it.
I tell people to just use window light if they don't have lights because
That's
it's a
true.
nice soft light. Yeah.
Did you ever do a Home Depot buy like a flood lamp kind of thing and just?
Oh,
like,
I've done like DIY music videos where you just get construction lights and set them up.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. Shadows and harsh highlights everywhere. But
Have you seen this, Lee?
I think I saw your video on it.
Did you?
Yeah.
Nice guy. Watches my videos. I'm going to give a little plug to Amaran here for putting this on. This is the Pano 60C. This is new. This is out now.
This is bicolor?
It's full color.
RGB?
Yes,
oh,
sir.
C. I guess it's what the C stands
RGB, HSI, whichever mode you prefer. And when you're just in bicolor, the C lets you do like a green magenta and everything
for.
else,
Right.
which is sweet.
Just USB-C power.
Yeah. So
Okay.
they have a bigger one. They have a 120C, which also has a DC barrel.
Right.
But both of them can be run power delivery. Cool thing with this is a 65 watt power delivery. So any kind of
Yeah,
65 watt
65
GAN
brick.
charger
Yeah.
or battery, whatever you got, boom. But they're also in Q3. They're going to be releasing this, which is the Peak, which is
Oh, that's heavy.
yeah, it's a battery, and I think this one's able to do 140 watt.
Okay.
So it's like a serious. And up top here,
Can you
there's
use
even-
this on the other panel then?
It'll fully power the 120, and
Can I
it'll
put this
power
on?
the 60 for longer. And on top, there's an ace lock there, which
This
is
is-
like
this
a
is good.
magnetic interface. It kind of like sucks it right in and then just clicks in. Instantly powers the light.
That's dope. So how much longer do you get out of this? Well, I guess you don't get anything out of this because it doesn't have a
Hey
battery.
Maxwell, how many watt hours is the Peak? 86. It's 86. So yeah, so you get an hour and a half, just under an hour and a half, probably full
At full power.
at full power. Yeah.
It's cool. It's something different. It's something new. No one's really doing this.
And I
handle
think
battery.
on the bottom of this too, it still has like
RE.
there's a, so you could fully dismount this in between your light stand or whatever,
Yeah.
and then you could juice this thing, and you basically have like an infinite.
Yeah,
know,
if you put this on your stand and then plugged your power into this,
Yeah.
and if you had to like undo
be
it and
redundant.
move it. Yeah. You like that. You like redundancy.
I like redundancy. If anybody out there is watching, AmranCreators.com or whatever dealer you like. You can pick up the Pano 60C now. You can even get a 2-light kit, which is really affordable. The peak will be coming probably like Q3. Thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, thanks
Appreciate
for having me.
What's this clock mean?
That's 15-minute countdown timer.
So we haven't done 15 minutes?
No.
Got any more weird
Yeah, I've got more
questions?
I thought for sure we were over. I have no good sense of time when we're rolling, you know?
Yeah.
We're back with Lee Zavitz after that break.
And we're back.
Yeah, exactly. Have you ever read any comments on your YouTube channel that actually did inform or change the way that you approach videos? You know how often we say, ignore the gallery and just like make what you got to make? Have you ever read a comment that's like, you know what? It's not bad. I think I will do that now.
Oh, I get that all the time.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Give me an example one if you
it's
can.
always tough to like look at the positive comments when you might get a string of positive comments with the one negative comment. You're like, oh, they hate the video.
Yeah.
Like, oh, why did I make this? I think a lot of the time, like when someone learns something, or they're like, I didn't know you could do that, or I'm going to try that next time, or stuff like that.
Have you ever got a critique though where you're like, I actually think I will, you're like, that's a good call. I will.
Oh, you mean like for me to make changes to something I want to do?
And then you actually did.
Maybe, probably.
But you've blocked them out.
I mean, you get so many. It's always just like a
and when
barrage
some of them
stuff,
are just
right?
like, I don't like your face. And
Yeah,
you're like, well,
I hate
I
you.
can't fix that, you know.
Yeah, I get the Jonah Hill of the camera world. They call me Jonah Hill. I don't know why.
Jonah Hill of the
I
camera.
don't know why.
Okay,
I look like Jonah Hill?
I get maybe like a 5-10% Jonah Hill, but not enough to make a comment about it.
Yeah.
Have you ever made a video that you hated but the audience loved?
Wow. It's usually the other way around.
Right.
I can't think of something that I hated making that someone loved. Actually, you know what? There's sometimes I'll cover products that I may not be quite as interested in, but like people love it. And then I'm like, oh, maybe I need to make more of this kind of stuff. See, because I get caught up in this world of like, I think everyone knows and does the same stuff that I'm doing, or like on that level,
Yeah.
where like some people are like new to the channel or new to photography or video or whatever. And then they're like, it's like an eye-opening thing for them, right? Where I'm just like, okay. And I sometimes need to go back. I got to remember that not everybody's at that same level, and there are beginners that want to learn, and I should probably start making more of that type of stuff.
That's fair. I guess the easier question then on the same topic is like, what's a video that you were going to make no matter what, but you're like, this is probably going to flop? And then you were like, oh, hello views.
Usually if I do anything with like a smartphone,
Yeah.
it always
You
cranks.
expect it to flop?
No, sometimes I don't know if it's going to do well or not.
Oh,
and
I
then
see.
it just cranks views. Yeah.
Maybe the first time
Yeah.
you were like, this is not going to work, and then it blasted off.
Yeah.
Because you had one, I think I remember several years back, where it was like iPhone versus
Camera.
iPhone versus
I do that all the time. Yeah, versus
and
like
I
a
think
pro
like one of
camera.
your first ones, you were probably like, oh wow, this thing popped
Yeah.
off.
It was probably the first
And
one.
now you're
I'm
like, I got to do this every year now.
Yeah.
The people need it.
Well, then the people subscribe for that, want to see it, right?
Yeah,
And you'll
exactly.
see it in the comments, like, when are you going to do this? When are you going to do this? Yeah.
And then there's
And
an
we're out of
example
time.
of the comments motivating your content.
Yeah. There you go.
Full circle.
Yep. That's how it works.
All right. Lee Zavitz, everybody. Thanks.
Yeah. See ya.